can send everyone a copy afterwards. So if you have any, if you want to remember anything that we talked about, you can go in and watch the recording again, and so that anyone who couldn't join us tonight has the opportunity to watch the live Q&A session. So actually, if someone can let me know in the chat box if you guys can hear me okay, that would be fantastic. Is there anyone joining us via the web, via their computer?
Yes, I'm on my computer, Diane Arkell.
Great, thanks guys. Seeing your chat features come in. We'll wait one more minute maybe for anyone else to join us. Linda's saying she can hear just fine. Judy can hear. Okay, thanks everyone. So if you just hopped on, my name is Anna Cabrich, and I'm the program coordinator here at headquarters. And I'm joined by Nora Blumenstein, and she's the program director. So just an FYI, especially if you're on your phone, we are recording this call, and that's just so that we can follow up with you guys to provide you a copy of this call, and anyone who couldn't make the call can watch the recording. Additionally, we just ask that you please mute your line, and this makes sure that the audio experience for everyone is as seamless as possible, so we're not getting a bunch of feedback. And if you are on a computer, there is a chat function, so please feel free to throw any comments or questions in that chat feature, and we'll try to get to them at the end of the call if we don't already address it. Okay, so it looks like our time is 7:01, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks everyone for joining us today and for watching the training and submitting the questions that you did. We've received some really great questions that we're going to walk through and address today. You might not hear your specific question worded exactly how you wrote it, but we did try to compile all of the questions into some general comments so that we can get through as many as possible. So we know you have really busy days, and we definitely appreciate you taking the time to really learn this new platform and to provide us with that feedback that you did. And we enjoy this interactive process with both club and region leadership so that we can all together make this application process the best it can be. So first, I want to really quickly recap what's new for applicants on this application portal. And I think that might answer a few of the questions that we received from all of you. So previously, with the writable PDFs, a woman would connect to a club, and she would already have her application finished before connecting to the club. And so a way that a woman connects online to a club is through a zip code search. And she inputs her zip code, and up pop the nearest 10 clubs within a 75-mile radius to that zip code that she input. But now the process for inputting the zip code is still the same, but she's going to do it before she even starts her application. So a woman will connect to your club by putting her zip code in and selecting which club she would like to apply to. And so this is actually an important update to note when you're thinking about advertising this award in your community. So instead of asking women to send their applications to you already complete, or instead of asking them to complete their application and then upload it online, you'll go ahead and just direct her from the get-go to input her zip code and start her application through the application portal. And so this is a little peek at what that zip code search looks like. So she'll input her zip code, click search. As I mentioned, up will pop the nearest 10 clubs within a 75-mile radius, and she'll select it, press continue, and that's how her application begins. And so applicants can put in whatever zip code they prefer. So if that's their home zip code, then they can type that in. If maybe it's the zip code of their school, they can type that in, and up will come the nearby clubs. And so we'll also have a flyer on the SIA website with a link to this zip code function so that women can go directly to it. And you can spread that flyer far and wide and also spread the link to this beginning of the application. So we also received some questions about a woman's eligibility. So previously, the eligibility requirements were only listed on the PDF application. So that meant a woman could go through the entire process of filling out the application and then later down the road find out that she wasn't even eligible. And so now, with this new application portal, after searching for a club and creating her account, a woman must confirm her eligibility by filling out a form before she even is able to start an application. So these eligibility questions on this form are the exact same eligibility requirements as of previous years. So none of these requirements have changed. They're just written out in almost a quiz style so that a woman can easily go through and check mark what applies to her. And so if, for example, she says she has 0 dependents, she would not be eligible to apply for an award, so she wouldn't even be able to start her application. It also notes that the references have to be from individuals who are not family members. And then this aspect is also clarified again on the reference form later in the application. So those eligibility requirements remain the same. They're just even further honed in by the woman having to fill out that form before she can even start her application. And we hope that this will cut down on the number of applications you guys receive that are ineligible. So another question we got is specific to the reference forms. So previously, applicants had to receive the completed reference form back from the 2 people that she had requested references from. So she was responsible for submitting her 2 references and her application all together. But we heard from a lot of references that this was not the preferred method of submitting their reference because it's not confidential. They have to return it back to the woman before she submits it to the club. And so now applicants will enter the email address of those that they wish to request references from, and an email is automatically sent to those people with a request for a reference. And then the individuals who were requested references of will fill out the form, click submit, and the woman who is applying, after her references submit their references, will get an email notification letting her know, hey, your reference submitted, make sure to check back into your portal to submit your complete application. And so a few also noted after watching the training video that there's a little view button on the applicant's homepage next to the reference. And we're wondering if that means that the woman can, in fact, view her references and what they're saying about her. And so the answer to that is no, because all references submitted through the portal are confidential. And so only you, as the Ligree Moore Chair, will be able to view the submitted references and then, share those with your judges. The view button for the applicant is going to show her the contact information that she submitted to request that reference, but it doesn't actually show any of the responses that the reference submitted. And then we also received a question about references asking, what if the reference doesn't have an email address? Can they still complete the application process? And the answer to this is no. So to complete an application online, the woman's 2 references must have email addresses. And the woman's references cannot be family members. And we do highly recommend, and we also put some messaging on the application, highly recommending that the woman's references be professional contacts, whether that be a school instructor or an advisor, an employer, or maybe a coworker. And all of these professional contacts typically will have email addresses. And so another exciting update from the Writable PDFs to this online application portal is that many applicants did not have Adobe Reader, which is necessary to open a Writable PDF, and they would have to download the program and maybe were confused and didn't really understand Writable PDFs. And so oftentimes this resulted in applications being blank, even though the woman took the time and put in the effort to fill it all out. Or sometimes the applications just appeared incomplete. And so an exciting update with this new application portal is that it completely uses online forms. And so that negates the Writable PDFs and any issues with blank applications, because each of the questions in the application portal are required. So the woman going through, before she can even submit her application, has to go through and make sure she's filled out each question. And additionally, women can save their application and then come back to it at a later date from any computer with internet access. So that's a nice feature for applicants so that they don't have to do everything in one sitting. And if applicants have any trouble with any aspect of the Live Your Dream Award application portal, there will be a pretty comprehensive help section for them so that they can find answers. And if they're still having trouble, they'll be prompted to contact either our department by sending an email to our Live Your Dream Awards email account, or in certain situations when it's a very technical issue, they'll be prompted to contact the tech department. And so previously, with questions concerning the Writable PDF, women would ask questions, and these sometimes went to the club, they went to the region leaders, sometimes came to us here at headquarters. We heard oftentimes from clubs who were really frustrated with the Writable PDFs that would appear blank or maybe only show text when you clicked on the field. And so now, as I mentioned, with this new application portal, there's an easy to access FAQ page for the applicants that will help them address those questions. And the fact that it's an online portal will negate any blank applications. And so now we're going to dive into some of the questions that you guys submitted. Again, I just want to reiterate that they might not be worded in the exact way that you submitted it, but if you do have any questions that we don't address here today, please go ahead and put them in the chat box, and we'll try to get to them at the end of the call. And so the first question we received quite a few times was, when will the application portal open and close? And so it will open for both women applying and for the club chairs on July 1st, 2018. And it will close for women trying to apply on the international application deadline, which is November 15th, 2018. But the portal, from a club chair perspective, will remain open, so you can access any applications that were sent to your club after the November 15th deadline. So you'll definitely have access to those applications for a long while after, while you're conducting your judging and reporting. And we received a few questions from all of you about extending your deadline to receive more applications and whether the application portal would stay open for that. And the portal will be closing to women applying on November 15th, and it can't accommodate varying deadlines across different clubs and regions. And this is because of the technology that goes into that zip code search in connecting both the woman to the club. And so this November 15th deadline was chosen years ago after a discussion with both region and club leadership in an effort to accommodate clubs who had early deadlines. So in September and October, some clubs like to complete their application process. And then there's also some clubs who have later deadlines in December and January. So this November 15th date was chosen as a compromise between those kind of two time periods. So another question we got was, will I receive an email notification when a woman applies to my club? And this is actually a really fantastic question and a feature that we hadn't thought about until you guys started asking about it. So currently the club chair does not receive an email when a woman applies to your club. So you'll just need to periodically check into your portal to see if you have any new applications. But as I mentioned, this is a fantastic idea for a feature and one that I'm sure most club chairs would benefit from. And so we'll definitely be looking into it. And if we do implement it during this open period, you will know because you'll start getting emails every time you get an application. But it's definitely something we'll try to prioritize for you guys. Another question we got was, can I edit the automated emails on the decision form? And so to provide some context, in case you didn't get a chance to watch all the way through the training video, after the club has completed your judging, you're going to want to return to your application portal to indicate if the application was a first place recipient, if any of the applications were additional recipients, so that's if you have any second place, third place, fourth place, however many awards you give out, or if the application did not receive an award. So you'll go through and for each application, you'll indicate separately your decision on that application. And so after indicating what your decision is, it offers you the opportunity to send a form email telling each woman if she did or did not receive an award. And so these are really generic emails. The one letting her know she did receive an award says, congratulations, we're so excited to support you, and then lets the woman know that someone from your club will be reaching out with more details. And then the one that says she did not receive an award just says, unfortunately, we awarded someone else, but we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. So these emails are really nice as a first touch, and then if you do decide to send these emails through the portal, we definitely recommend that you follow up with the woman via emailing or calling, just to settle details about how she'll receive the funding and if you're going to have an award ceremony or meet up with her. But then alternatively, if you really want to customize that first email contact that you have with any of these women, you can just select no, that you do not want to send this email. And that decision form for each application will record your decision, but it won't send the email. And then you can reach out separately, not within this portal, to let the woman know if she did or did not receive an award. And so another question we got is, can our club share our applications with another club? And so this is something we're aware that a lot of clubs do. We've heard that a lot of clubs will do their judging and then they like to pass on really strong applications that they maybe can't give funding to a nearby club, or maybe their club receives a ton of applications and there's another club in their area that doesn't receive a lot. So we're still working out the exact particulars, but you will be able to complete a form to notify us which applications you want to move into which club. And so then on the back end, what we'll do is we'll just switch that application from your portal to the new club's portal. So we'll definitely have instructions on the club help section about how exactly you'll go about letting us know if you want to move some applications. And then another good question about there being a flyer that you can post and hand out, and about the link for women to apply, so the direct link to this portal. And obviously, this is a great need for chairs to have a flyer that they can hand out to their community partners, especially if you're encouraging applicants and any community partners to go directly to the site instead of sending you the writable PDFs. So we will most definitely be sharing a flyer that has this link, and we'll also have a space for you to put your contact information and club name so that if any applicants do see this flyer posted or maybe see it online somewhere, they can get in touch with you with any questions. And so we'll definitely make sure to share that with you guys as soon as it's up on the new Soroptimist.org website, which hopefully some of you have checked out. Soroptimist.org recently got a bit of a facelift, so it's an exciting and really dynamic new site. So as soon as that flyer is posted and live, we will make sure that you get that link. Quite a recurring question that we got through the Submit a Question form was, can women in clubs still use the writable PDFs? And the answer to that is yes, but only really, we don't encourage it unless absolutely necessary. And so preferably, all clubs will direct applicants to this online application portal. And that's to reduce, blank writable PDFs, incomplete applications, and to really streamline this process so that applications are all going to one place. So especially if a woman has access to a computer or to the internet, whether that's her own computer or maybe at the library or at her school, she should be able to create an account and, as I mentioned previously, come back to it if she wants to, save her essay and then come back to it and work on it a little later. And if a woman submits a PDF application, but she does have access to a computer, she can easily create an application online by just copying and pasting what it was in her writable PDF directly into her online application. But we do understand that there may be select women who have absolutely no access to the internet. And so in this case, obviously the club, can and should still accept her application. We're not looking to cut any women off from applying from the award. But if this woman is the club recipient, the club can then create an account on her behalf and indicate on that decision form if she is the one to receive an award. And then a few questions came through relating to a club giving their judges access to the application portal or a club giving their committee access to the application portal and all the applications on there. And so currently the application portal is only available for collecting applications. There is no judging component to the portal. And so clubs, to host their judging, will need to download and save or print their applications and then conduct their judging offline. And so this is a feature, though, that we're aware of as a request and are looking into, and that we hope in future years we can include it in the process. Additionally, we've received questions asking if SIA will be able to capture the club transmittal information through the portal. And currently, that is not an available feature. Again, the application portal right now is only as a means to collect applications. But this reporting component is also something that we know would be really beneficial for clubs to have everything just all in one place. So we are looking into the possibility of that, and again, hope to include that in future years. And so on this vein, we received a few questions about the confidentiality of applications. And those questions were mostly related to how we could ensure confidentiality if judges or if other committee members were using the portal. And because that's not currently a function, currently only the club chair can access the portal, that's why we have the first task of a club chair is reading and signing a confidentiality agreement. And that's just to make sure that everyone's on the same page about keeping information safe. And so that is the conclusion of all the questions, most of the questions that were submitted prior to this call that we could really consolidate and answer for you tonight. And so Nora's actually been taking note of some of the questions you guys have been putting in the chat box. So she's going to walk us through a few of those questions, but please feel free to keep putting questions in the chat box and we'll try to keep up with those. And again, this is an ongoing process that we are trying to make really interactive for you guys. So we're going to keep the link open for the submit a question form that we provided before this call so that you guys can keep submitting your questions so we can know, you know, what thoughts are out there and what feedback you guys have. But so I'm going to turn it over to Nora so she can pull up some of these chat box questions.
Thanks. So we received a question about what does the message to the reference look like? Does it tell them it is confidential? The reference notification is automatically generated when an applicant inputs the reference's name and email address into the reference form. That generates a template email directly to the reference's inbox saying the applicant's name has requested a reference from you and provides a link to the reference form to be completed. I don't have the messaging in front of me to know if it mentions specifically if the reference is confidential or not, but I think that that is a really good point, and we could make the point that it is confidential to references, so that's something that we will review that content and make sure that it clarifies that to references that this is now a confidential process, which is different than in the past. There's another question about does each club create their own flyer, or does the flyer come from SIA and each club fills out the club information? And so Anna did touch on this, that SIA will make the flyer for you. It will be a template, and then you'll be able to fill in your respective club information and share that within your respective communities. And then there's another question about application sharing. There's one club that typically gets 10 to 15 applications and sends extras to clubs in the region. And so Anna did touch on this, that we will have a process for sharing applications because we recognize that that is a big need. There are many clubs and regions that facilitate application sharing, and we want to help support that because it allows more clubs to participate and more women to be helped by this life-changing program. So we are absolutely doing our best to figure out the best way to move forward with facilitating that sharing, the application sharing for clubs.
And so I see a comment that just came in about will there be a section of tips for applicants for how to write a winning essay? This is a great question and a good suggestion, and definitely something that we can think about adding to the help section for applicants or the FAQ section. So thank you, Deborah, for noting that, and we'll definitely write that down as something we could potentially add to that help section. And then I see another question that is asking if media consent is going to be part of the application process. It looks like Kelly's asking about that. And so currently, media consent is not built into this application process. It is something that we could potentially give thought to, but why we have not built it into the process as of now is we don't want women to think that that could be a barrier to applying. So, you know, a woman might say that no, she doesn't want any of her information shared with the media, and maybe be concerned that because she said no, her application will be looked on unfavorably, which obviously would probably not ever be the case. But that is for our development process why we did not include it. But definitely noted that Kelly, I think another person asked about that as well, so we've definitely noted that that's been requested. Yeah, and so another thing actually that I meant to touch on but did not was about whether or not social security numbers are asked in the portal, and they are not asked for on this online application. And that's just to ensure that that really super confidential information of a social security number is kept as private as possible. So if your club is giving, if your club is in the U.S. and giving awards $600 or over and need that W-9 form, which includes their social security number, you'll want to follow up outside of the portal after you've indicated her as your recipient. So if anyone else has any more questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat feature. We're definitely not trying to take up all of your time tonight, so we'll just wait a few more minutes and see if anything else comes through. But if you're feeling good, you are welcome to hop off. I just want to reiterate that we're going to send a recording of this call and then some really pertinent links to you by the end of this week. So keep an eye on your email for that.
I have a question.
Yeah, who's speaking?
This is Diane Arkell.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, I don't see the chat button here. Does the applicant have the option of what I call shopping, looking at different clubs to know what the awards are? Because each club has different awards. There's no set formula for it. So do they know to look at different clubs who might have that information on their website? And do the applicants have access to the club's website?
So on our website, which is the beginning of that application process, we do not list the award amounts. We just list the names of the clubs in reference to their zip code. And we do not point to any of the club websites that would maybe list those award amounts. So women are only supposed to and really allowed to apply to one club. And that just minimizes confusion. So if multiple clubs get an application for the same woman, they're going to have to, you know, like talk with each other and figure out who's going to submit or who's going to award her an award. And so that's why we don't include a lot of particular information about specific club award amounts. But, you know, of course, if the woman is in the community and she's seeing flyers for different clubs that include the award amount, then she might be able to tell that, you know, club number 1 has a $2,000 award and club number 2 only has a $1,000 award. And then when she goes to apply and puts in her zip code, she picks club number 1.
Yeah, thank you. But she has no idea that the clubs all have different awards amounts.
Yeah, so the very first page that apply link is going to take women to actually does have some messaging saying that the award amounts on the club level do vary, but on average is $1,000. So we do definitely have some text on that very first apply page saying that, so that she's just aware that the award is going to be different amounts depending on which club she applies to. But we don't have specific numbers listed per club.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thanks, Diane.
I see a question came in from Dana regarding the application deadline, asking if a final decision has been made. And I just wanted to touch on that conversation about what to do about extended deadlines is currently just up for discussion, and that's a conversation that's being continued with the region chairs. And so We'll circle back soon about that once we have more definite information to share with you. And then also there's a comment about how it would be a good idea to let the applicants know whether the reference will be confidential too. And I completely agree that we can include messaging for both parties there, for both the reference and the applicant, to clarify that that information submitted by the reference will be confidential and not viewable by the applicant. And let's see what else. There's a good suggestion to put the club webpage or information that's unique about your specific club's award. We'll make sure to include an extra line or so on the flyer for clubs who may want to list additional information that's unique to their club award. And then there are some kudos that we're so thankful to receive, so thank you for that. We've been developing this platform for the past year or so, believe it or not. So it's taken a lot of work to get to this point. We recognize that it's not a perfect process, as Anna touched on. We still hope to, in the future, have other developments, such as hosting, judging, and also incorporating the transmittal process. But hopefully we'll get there eventually. So thanks for your compliments. We appreciate that. Let's see. Also, there's a question about the meeting format, and is it possible to get information on using this for clubs to meet with other clubs, districts, and regions? So we are using the GoToMeeting platform to host the meeting, which I'm not sure, we can certainly follow up with more specific information about that for you, Kelly. I'm not sure what the specifics are about subscription, but we can direct you to where you can get more information about that. And I don't see any other questions, but if anyone has one, please feel free to enter it into the chat function now so we can address it for you.
Yeah, so we'll wait maybe another few minutes just to see if anything comes in the chat feature. But I want to say again, thank you so much for joining us. If you don't have any questions, if you're feeling pretty good, you can feel free to sign off. We will be following up with an email that contains this recording and some other important links, so definitely keep an eye out for that email. And if you have any other questions, one of those links in the email follow-up is going to be how you can submit more feedback and more questions. So again, thank you everyone so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk through some stuff with us. So we'll hang here a minute to see if anything else comes through the chat box. All right, thank you so much, everyone. We're going to wrap it up. And as I said quite a few times, sorry you have to hear me repeat over and over again, we'll be sending you a recording of this call. So keep an eye on your email. All right, have a good night, everyone.